Hi, Missouri Mid-South Conference. As we've been talking about congregational meetings, I wanted to do one separate video to talk about the importance of installing your church's future council leaders. Sometimes this is done very quickly at the end of the congregational meeting or at the end of the worship service, and we use our liturgy from the UCC Book of Worship and we do it and it's done and woohoo, that's great. In my local church setting, what I realized was that this was a very holy moment, comparable to ordination, because people who have been called by God and by the congregation have accepted that call, and now we are making a covenant that in this upcoming year that the congregation will support them in love, prayers, in support, in response, and in service. And that those who have been called are making the covenant that on the good days of going to the church council meetings and being dynamic and living out who God is calling them to be, but also on the tough days when they get those really ugly emails or the tough phone calls or the difficult decisions to make, that they will remember who called them and whose they are. And so I would like to inspire you and invite you to think about another component of the installation service, and that is something that is experiential. So after you have offered all of the questions, my challenge and invitation to you is to have your church council sit in chairs in front of the sanctuary, to have them seated, and then, just like in an ordination service, I invite you to have each of the congregation members to come and to, yes, lay on of hands, but also to offer a prayer in the ear, whispering in their ear or simply in the nonverbal touch for each person. I know my experience in my local church setting was that this was the nourishment and the blessing that many of my church leaders came back to on the most difficult days, that they remembered that touch, they remembered that blessing, and they remembered that prayer that was whispered in their ear that got them through the most challenging and difficult moments. If we truly believe that all are called to serve and to minister, this is a dynamic way to offer that covenant, that installation, that blessing, that they are not alone, that they have been called, that they are supported by the congregation, and that they will be prayerfully lifted up throughout this year. The installation of our leaders is a very important and holy moment in our congregations. My hope is that you and I will remember that as we were blessed and as we were called, so too we are blessed and called to serve, this day and forevermore. Amen.